Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make NBA DFS content, sports books, anything you can think of. I make content for all these videos. They get posted on this Reddit. I'll have it linked down below. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate, anything you think of. I will have that down below. And then if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on X right here. And if you're looking for more in-depth content where I give you guys sportsbook plays, prize pick plays, DFS content, private videos, made like 3 units today on sportsbooks. That was pretty damn good. Yeah, before we get into the slate, let's go over my lineups from today and yesterday. Here we go. So cash yesterday. Not going to take too much too much time. I basically just slammed the value, the Cleveland value, the Pels value, spend up for Sengun, to be honest. Pretty straightforward. Today, I don't know if I'm going to hold on to the cash in this lineup. We shall see. But my core today was LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Musa Diabate, and Colin Sexton. And I flagged playing of Rudy Gobert and GPP, so that worked out pretty good there. He had a great game. Then this lineup should hold in the cash. Same kind of thing. Just played John Collins, played the core, LaMelo, Musa, Sexton, Brandon Miller. Round out my lineup. Kind of similar thing here. Just no Chris Paul in this lineup. Went with Castle there, so I played Castle in one lineup, Chris Paul in the other. Didn't want them together that much, but yeah, should be a solid night. Hopefully that one lineup stays in the cash there. Yeah, 8 game slate for tomorrow. I'm gonna try and go through this quick, guys. I'm not feeling too hot. So yeah, I'm gonna try to fly right through this. So not the best spot here going up against the Sixers. We have Cam Thomas probable. We have Claxton questionable. Return to practice. We'll see if he plays. Dorian Finney-Smith is questionable. So with everyone in, if Claxton's full go at 5.8K, should play around 30 minutes. Stands like a decent point per dollar play. Nothing amazing. Tough matchup here going up against Joel Embiid. That would obviously hurt the other value. Like Ben Simmons, I probably wouldn't get to at that price point. All these other values, Jalen Wilson, etc., etc. You also have Cam Thomas back, so I'm not too high on like Dennis Schroeder. I guess Cam Thomas himself, I like the ceiling in GPPs, but Cam Johnson priced right with everyone back, so there wouldn't be too much here. Now, if we get like Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith out again, then yeah, I'm gonna like Jalen Wilson quite a bit for value. Now with Cam Thomas back, it's a completely different situation to last time where we jammed the Nets. Like, I wouldn't really be like amazingly excited about the Nets if Claxton and Dorian Finney-Smith are out. I would mainly be looking to the value here, just like see who starts, but mainly Jalen Wilson would be able to be the one getting the bump. Noah Clowney. Ben Simmons would still be firmly in play at 5-4, and then the main 3 top guys still fine options. Cam Thomas being my favorite. Moving on to the Sixers, so Paul George going to remain out for this game. I kind of like Joel Embiid at 10.1K. He is full go, no Paul George. It's back to last year. You're getting him at 10K. Sure, he has to get off some rust, but you're not going to see him at this price point when he's full go ever again. You're just not going to. I don't think a ton of people are going to play him tomorrow either, so I'm very high on Joel Embiid. I would expect Tyrese Maxey to remain on some type of limit, so hard to go there. And then I'm not going to get to much else here with Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey both playing. I think everyone's still priced up when this whole team was dealing with injuries. I think, I kind of just like Joel Embiid and GPPs. That's mainly it. Great spot here for Boston going up against Washington. I like the price points here. I think Drew Holiday at 5.3K is a bit too cheap. Great matchup. I like him quite a bit. I think Derek White, 6.9K, just playing massive minutes. Stuff in the stat sheet, can grab some rebounds. Super safe, don't mind that. I think Tatum's a really solid spin up on the slate. Jaylen Brown looks pretty good to me at 8.2. So I think all the Celtic starters here, even Al Horford, I think is a solid value, are pretty damn good options. Now, if you think the game blows out, then you kind of want to fade like Al Horford because he'll get floor minutes. Drew Holiday as well. Those would be the first 2 guys that'll lose minutes. And then Peyton Pritchard should play mid-20s minutes, 5K. Great price point here. I think he looks pretty solid. So Boston does look pretty decent to me tomorrow. And then Sam Hauser should see around 20 minutes as well. Great spot for him. I think he's a playable value. So Yeah, like some Boston. Washington, I think we can just cross right over. We have Brogdon back. I believe he started last game. I don't have any interest in anyone. I guess if you think it's going to stay competitive, I think like Kyle Kuzma is a little bit intriguing. This does seem a little bit too cheap for Kyle Kuzma. Might necessarily prefer him to like a Jordan Poole. But yeah, not loving too much on Washington. Like I said, I'm going to try and get through this quick, guys. Moving on to the Warriors, I mean, I played Steph last game, only 30 minutes due to the blowout, but I like him quite a bit once here again. As long as the game stays competitive, he should play mid 30s minutes. Great spot here going up against the Pelicans. His role's different. He's low owned every slate. Still think he's a little bit too cheap. So, yeah, like some Steph. Once again here, I think these mid range guys look pretty decent too. What do we have here? Draymond Green at 6'1", playing alongside Steph. He gets a bump. I think he seems a little bit too cheap. Like me some Draymond. I think Wiggins at 5.4K seems a little bit too cheap. Like some Wiggins quite a bit. Um, this is a spot where I think the Warriors could play a little bit more smaller. So I am a little bit worried about Trace Jackson Davis's minutes here. But if you give him around 20 minutes at this price point, he could have a really good game. So don't mind Trace for value. Then they're just going to go with like the hot hand with the rest. But Lindy Waters, he's been starting. I think normal minutes for him are anywhere from like mid to high 20s, which makes him a solid value. So yeah, unfortunately, I do like some of these Warriors for tomorrow. Pelicans, it's just a mess. It depends. If they're all out again and we get the same guys out, we know what to do. Now Trey Murphy, I believe he missed the last game. Yeah, he's back. But if we get all of them out again, yeah, Brandon Boston looks great. Trey Murphy, I would absolutely love. Then these value plays, we'll just have to see if they change the starting lineup. But then we're going to guys like JRE, even like Reeves would have to play a ton. Jamal Cain would still be have to play a ton, right? Even with Trey Murphy back, they're still gonna have to play these guys, right? So is Alfred Payton in the pool? Alfred Payton in the pool as well. So like it's hard to say. I'll make updates when we do get this news. But we do have Trey Murphy back, so they're not going to be like as amazing of plays as they once were the other day. Um, with Trey Murphy back, but I think if everyone's out again, you're definitely going to need some Pels tomorrow, and I will make updates on Reddit when we do get that news. If everyone's in, I'm probably not going to get to like much here. If CJ McCollum's doubtful, I guess Brendan Ingram I like quite a bit. You guys know I always love Brendan Ingram with the team to himself. I guess him and Trey Murphy would be really, really solid plays. I think Trey's just still too cheap here at 5'9", and then Brandon Boston Jr. would be priced right, and I probably wouldn't love this value here. Moving on to the Pacers, so got to keep an eye on Ben Shepherd here and Jarace Walker. If they're out, they started Quentin Jackson. Was it Quentin Jackson? I believe it was Quentin Jackson last game. If he starts again, he's going to really good value. Like him quite a bit. T.J. McConnell's playable at 4.8K. Should see around 20 minutes. Mathurin got benched last game, but still like the ceiling there. And then Halliburton just has been a shell of himself. He is nothing more than a large field GPP play for me at this point. But great spot here going up against the Bucks. And if no one's going to play him tomorrow in this fantastic spot with the price point down, and we get Ben Shepherd out already with Nembhard and D. Smith out, I'm probably going to fire up some Halliburton in GPPs if he's low owned tomorrow. And yeah, keep an eye on that news. We could have some value opening up here. Miles Turner just kind of indifferent there. Same with like Siakam. Moving on to the Bucks, yeah, Giannis looks phenomenal. I think he's probably the best spin up on the board on this slate. Him, Joel Embiid. I think Tatum looks good. You have Kyrie Irving with no Luka Doncic, so yeah, Giannis looks fantastic. Great spot for him. Damian Lillard, I think, is decent too as well. And then fine spot here for Brook Lopez. He's been on fire of late. I kind of feel like playing him at this price point after like back to back to back to back nukes. Kind of feels like chasing, but he's playing massive minutes right now, so I have no issue playing Brook Lopez. I'm not going to get to the value here. We'll have so much better value opening up later. Moving on to Atlanta, so great spot here. Absolutely love Trae Young and Jalen Johnson. I think I prefer Jalen Johnson to Trae Young, but just fantastic spot. Both should play big minutes. Chicago playing at the fastest pace in the league. I love both of these guys tomorrow in GPPs. Everyone else, Camilla Conwood will split the center minutes. Great spot for them. If you want to go there in large field GPPs, I guess that's okay. But they're getting healthier now, so I'm not really like too into like DeAndre Hunter, Dyson Daniels, etc., Garrison Matthews, those types. I guess in large field GPPs, we went through some darts on like Bogey because he has a massive ceiling and it's a great matchup. I guess that could be okay. But main interest here is I love Trae Young and Jalen Johnson tomorrow. Moving on to Chicago, great spot here. I'm very, very high on Zach LaVine here once again. He was my favorite Bolt last game. He nuked. Great spot for these Bulls. I am very high on Zach LaVine. What else do we have here? Patrick Williams out. I think Torrey Craig's a solid value. He got the start last game, played 30 minutes. Iodesumu at 5K should see around 30 minutes. They're going to go with the hot hand between like Io and Josh Giddey. So I wouldn't play either of those guys in the same lineup, but I think Giddey is firmly in play. I also think Kobe White's a solid play. But Levine, definitely my favorite bull here. And then Vooch. I always like his ceiling in GPPs, although I think I prefer the price point on Zach Levine. All right, we could have some nukes on Portland. So Ayton doubtful, Simons and Scoot questionable. Oh boy, if they're both out, absolutely love Shaden Sharp at 5'7" if they're both out. Would really like Delano Banton. Jeremy Grant, I would like quite a bit. Would really like him. You're going to get more run for these other guys. With Ayton doubtful, I think Rob and Klinging are both solid values. Kamara, he would have to take a decent bump in usage with all these guys out if they're out. Still wouldn't have any issues with him. But the main three nukes would be Jeremy Grant, Shaden Sharp, Delano Banton. Would just absolutely love those guys. Now, if we get Simons and Scoot in, I still think, you can take some shots here. I think Simons at 6'2". Assuming no limit, it's his hand. I would expect him to be Folco. Would be just way too cheap at this price point. So it's still like Simons. I think Grant's a little bit too cheap regardless. And then, like, the guards, not with everyone healthy. But yeah, keep an eye on this news. We could have some plays that I love on Portland tomorrow. Moving on to Houston, great spot here. Sengoat, my goat. Absolutely love him tomorrow at 8.4K. She'll play big minutes as long as the game stays competitive and he avoids foul trouble. Great spot here. Really like Alfred Sengun. I think all these secondary guys are solid too. Jalen Green seems a little bit too cheap at 6.4K. I like him quite a bit. I think Fred's decent. They're going to go with the hot hand between like Jabari, Amen Thompson, and Tari Eason. No confidence in their minutes outside of like Tari. He's up to 5'7" now. Dylan Brooks losing minutes. I think it's mainly just the top three guys here that look pretty damn good to me. Moving on to Dallas, no Luka. Kyrie Irving, one of my favorite spend-ups up on the board in a great spot going up against Denver. So I love Kyrie Irving here. Klay Thompson gets a massive bump. I like his ceiling in GPPs. Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford. Not standout plays at their price points, but I feel like they want to play Derek Lively right now. So if I were playing one, it would be Derek Lively. You should get, what was the starting lineup doing with last time? Kyrie, PJ, Clay, Quentin Grimes, and Derek Lively. And then you'll see Hardy off the bench. Like Grimes, Hardy, I think are solid contrarian values. I don't think they'll pick up too much ownership tomorrow. We'll see. But even if they're popular, I think they're decent. And yeah, I think that's it. Love Kyrie, like Clay a ton, and the values. Moving on to Denver, it just depends on Jokic. If Jokic plays, I probably prefer him to like Giannis. Just fantastic spot here going up against Dallas. You guys always know I like to pick on the Dallas big. So Jokic would probably like him a little bit more than Giannis tomorrow. And then that would kind of like make Jamal priced right, Michael Porter Jr. priced right. It would take me off the values. But if we get Jokic out, I still think Jamal's good. At 8.6K, I don't think he'd be an absolute must at this price point, though, but would be good. Same with Michael Porter Jr. Would be fine, like, last pieces in for me. They'll probably pick up ownership anyway, but would be solid options. And then, yeah, I think this is a spot you could see you could see them go smaller in this spot and see, like, Russell Westbrook pick up more minutes like he did last game. Darius Saric got into foul trouble and then lost a little bit of minutes at the end. But I think normally you're going to get around 30 minutes from Dario, which makes him a fine option. What else do we have here? Strother should see around 20 minutes. Don't mind that. And Braun should play big minutes. No standouts at their price points. I think mainly just like Jamal, Michael Porter Jr. If you want to throw darts on like Russell Westbrook. I still like Darius Saric for value, etc., etc. Sacramento. So everyone's healthy here for Sacramento. I'm not in love with too much. I think Sabonis and Fox. Fox is priced up from when everyone was out. So like, I think I'd rather just play Sabonis at a similar price point. And with everyone back, with everyone priced up, I have a tough time really clicking on anyone else here. Moving on to the Clips. So, yeah, tough matchup here for Harden, but still always a great play in GPPs. I might even prefer Kyrie Irving over James Harden, but still of interest. Zubac at 7-2. Repeat the tape. Repeat the tape. Don't have to talk about him. Repeat the tape. I also like the value here. Chris Dunn, Kevin Porter Jr. I think are solid values. Amir Coffey started last game. I don't hate him, although I prefer Chris Dunn and Kevin Porter Jr. So sorry for not the enthusiastic mega breakdown where I talk about every player and go more in depth. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys tomorrow night if I'm feeling better.